GT Championship of 1997, the Brazilians took the chance to organise 2 rounds of a winter Temporada. First race at Curitiba and the second at Brasilia, both organised by Nelson Piquet. Well, this is the Curitiba race. It's a 2.3-mile circuit, and it's Brazil's 4th track after Interlagos, Rio de Janeiro and Brasilia. Drivers liked it. There's a lot of corners in a small area, and there's a lot of work for this first of the 2 rounds of the Temporada. 18 starters from the BPR series, but a lot of local drivers in familiar cars. On pole, Maurizio Sala in the João McLaren from Antonio Herman in the Enya Ferrari. The Enya Ferrari is being run by Euroteam this weekend. So if I'm getting some heat into the tires, not that it's that necessary, it is super hot here, 32 degrees here in the Brazilian summer, and 20,000 spectators packing the circuit to see the first race in many, many years here at Curitiba. First international race, I should say. So Piquet and Johnny Cecotto in the Bugatti McLaren. It's one of the factory 96 Le Mans cars. Obviously favourites here, the 2 South American drivers, Piquet from Brazil and Cecotto from Venezuela, having already won the Interlagos 1,000 kilometres in 1994, hoping to repeat that in 1996-97 winter here at Curitiba. Well, the race is on. There's 2 hours of racing ahead, and straight into the lead goes indeed, shutting the door firmly, Johnny Cecotto, taking the lead from Maurizio Sala, Antonio Herman and Thomas Bischer, the 95 BPR champion in the West McLaren, which Dave Price Racing is running as usual. Well, behind them, the pack of Porsches being led by the GT1 Conrad 911, the Curitiba circuit racing manager Flavio Trinidade. He's showing the car with Jürgen Barth, who's Porsche's customer racing manager. At the moment, Sala's pushed himself in front, but Venezuelan Cecotto then takes the lead back, and he's now pushed Sala back into second again. Herman Ambusher, he's just putting his stamp on the circuit. The Venezuelan driver, former motorcyclist, 350 world champion in 1975, and he was 750 world champion in 1978 before he moved over to single-seater racing. He was runner-up in the European Formula 2 champion of 82. Then had that big accident at Brands Hatch driving for Tolman in 84. Turned to touring cars and GT cars, and here he is, still racing hard and leading this 18-car pack. It's a quality field here in Curitiba. There indeed is the Conrad Porsche in the familiar blue and white colours, just coming into the picture at the back there. This circuit just outside the city of Curitiba, as you can see, a very green area of Brazil, very agricultural area. And the circuit and Nelson Piquet and Antonio Herman, who's a Brazilian driver and a race promoter, all working together to put on quality summer sports car racing in South America's largest country. So Johnny Cecotto sitting in the middle of that McLaren, of course. 3-seater McLaren, driver in the middle gives them a great advantage, being in the middle of the centre of gravity on these cars. Maurizio Sala and Thomas Bischer in third, ahead of the 2 Ferraris. Those 2 Ferraris, though, really pushing. They're the Euroteam cars. It's Herman in the 28 car from owner Luciano Dellanocci in the 27 car, just behind him. They're closing on Bischer. Thomas Bischer showing his car with John Nielsen, of course. Further and further ahead goes Johnny Cecotto. Nothing to stop him at the moment. Pushing on in this Bugatti McLaren. Car you may well recognise from the Le Mans 24 Hours. There were 2 of the Bugatti BMWs there. One of the cars went to America, and this is it. Originally went over as a show car, but it's been press-ganged into action for these 2 Brazilian races. Well, there indeed is that Conrad car we were talking about earlier. So the Porsche brigade being led by Trinidade from the Number 96 Labre car of Christophe Bouchou and Patrice Gouslard. And the other Conrad car behind them is also GT2. That's the car of Bob Wallach and Franz Conrad. The Labre and Wallach cars, of course, in GT2. This car we're looking at now, GT1. Labre looking for a win after a very barren 96. Not a single GT2 win during the whole of the BPR series of last year. Hoping they can do something better during the winter here in Brazil. Christophe Bouchou at the wheel at the moment, and who's so spectacular winning at Le Mans, but had a lot of accidents in 95, 96, blotting his copybook a little bit, trying to make up for it now today here at Curitiba. Bob Wallach having looked down the inside of Bouchou. Of course, these two drivers, old sparring partners, both top French drivers. But the extra power of that GT1 car at the moment taking Trinidade just a little bit ahead of them. Here's Antonio Herman, man we've seen a lot of racing this year in Europe, and right behind him still, with the lights on there, Luciano Dellanocci, the man who owns both these Ferrari F40s, these beautiful Evolution cars. Turbo cars, of course, against the atmospheric V12s of the BMW powered McLarens. Both engines with the restrictors pumping out in the region of 650 brake horsepower. Things a little bit different in Brasilia, where they're going to be much higher. It's a 3,500 foot high circuit. But here at Curitiba, near to sea level, everything's equal. And the Ferraris at the moment just playing themselves in. They know they're going to be struggling for fuel on this tighter circuit. It's where the McLarens tend to come into their own in these endurance races. They have longer legs on the fuel. Going past the Dodge Viper there, incidentally. We see the Dodge Viper from European Luigi Racing. That's driven by Bob Keller and Roberto Arana. Car we saw racing at Le Mans 2 years ago in the rent-a-car team. There's day-glow colours. Oh, off goes 107 there. That is Andre Laudo Rosendi in the Conrad car, third of the Conrad cars. He's sharing that with Vido Rusla. Well, the battle's still on now, with Herman chasing hard after. Thomas Bischer looking down the inside, can't quite do it. Saw the Cycle Motorsport Porsche in the pits since then, the Halio de Lisa and Alfonso Serra. They've had problems, and they have done very few laps in this race. They'll be stuck there for a long time. So all eyes at the moment on Bischer in third place, defending that third place from the Ferrari brigade. And from Luciano Dellanocci behind. Still out ahead, Johnny Cicotto leading from Maurizio Sala. Sala, of course, the mainstay of the GTC Motorsport Gulf team back in '95. Had a superb season with Ray Bellum in the car. That was then dropped in favour of James Weaver last year. And of course, Bellum and Weaver going on to win the championship. Despite the fact that Sala had 5 victories with Bellum in '95. Still that Ferrari climbing all over the back of Bischer's West McLaren. West McLaren on Goodyear tyres, of course. The Callaway Corvette there of Callaway Schweiss team, Tony Seiler and Kurt Huber, not the Augusta team. Oh, through on the inside, Herman tries to go through. It was a heavy move, it didn't quite come off because he lost some time braking to avoid a collision. Still Bichir keeps that place. Third place secure from the Ferraris. Oh, problem there. Problem for Herman, he goes off the road. He missed a gear by the look of it. Went off the road and lost a little bit of time. All the Porsches further back, fighting their own battle. There we have a look at Herman going off again. He went very, very wide. You can see Bichir getting the power down earlier, going off into the distance. So Herman losing some time there. But the Ferrari is almost certainly going to be the first cars to stop. They have that much heavier on fuel. And indeed, into the pits comes Luciano Dellanocci. He's going to be handing over to Luis Garcia Jr. Now, those in Britain probably recognise that name from British Formula 3, and more particularly last year in British Formula 3000 when he was racing for Edenbridge. So the young Brazilian driver gets in. Ferrari team, having seen him in action, deciding he's just the man they need. There he is, standing by the door, waiting for Dellanocci, the Rome house builder, to get out of the car. Well, he's out, and in gets Luis Garcia Jr. There's the Euro team under Luigi Dindo. Get the Ferrari fettled, running new wheels incidentally this weekend, trying to find a bit of cooling. We hear the pit lane sirens going, and indeed in comes Maurizio Sala. He's going to hand over to his team owner, Fabien Giroir. So Fabien Giroir in the Frank Muller Motorsport McLaren, having what it's going to be its last two races, because he'll be changing to Lotus in 1997.